I think the definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire a person to then in turn inspire another person that then inspires another person. And that's how you create something that I think lasts forever. And I think that's our challenge as people, is to figure out how our story can impact others and motivate them in a way to create their own greatness.
Welcome to the Welcome to the 3 on 3 podcast. That's right. You're listening to the number one basketball podcast in the universe. I'm tuned in with my guys, my amigos, my compadres, Evan, Lou, and the Pod Mamba, who's in the background, making sure that we continue to be the number one basketball podcast in the universe. A great and wonderful show is in store for you as always. We're going to be recapping the finals. We're going to be parlaying that to some trade talks, man. Some trades went down. They're not wasting any time. It's happening quicker than we thought it would. And last but not least, we're going to talk about this NBA draft that is upon us. Everything's happened so quickly, y'all. Sad to see it happen, but I'm excited at the same time because this is an exciting time of year. But let's jump right into it, guys. The OKC Thunder, man, as Lou predicted. So we got to give Lou credit. As Lou predicted, OKC Thunder, led by Shea Gilly, as Lou affectionately calls him,
Come on now. Told you.
have won the 2024-25 NBA championship. The first one there for OKC. So shout out to them. They won it in 7, so they took it all the way. It was great to watch.
The NBA did what it was supposed to do.
Yes, they were on script. they they were on script. They were on script. But let's talk about what's first, man. The biggest outside of OKC winning, the biggest thing that happened. Let's talk about the devastating
Lou Dort
injury.
waving the Haitian flag.
Yes, yes. Shout out to the Zoe. We're gonna talk
The
about
Zoes.
Halliburton, man, rupturing his Achilles. It's devastating. As much as I am a Hallie hater on this podcast this season, you still don't want to see anybody go out like that. It was sad to see him, on the floor with such pain. And, we hope he has a speedy recovery and that, he's back on the court sooner than later. But it's still worth discussing from the Pacers angles, right? So let's start with this. We know he had calf soreness in game 6, but decided to play, right? He had been dealing with it actually since game 2, if I'm not mistaken, but it was really exacerbated. I think he had a collision. I forgot with who. I apologize, y'all. I didn't get my facts on that. But he injured it in the game, so it kind of re-aggravated it. And, he soldiered through. And here we are. We all know it's reminiscent of KD, and this is the third. I don't think this has ever happened before. 3 Achilles injuries in the same playoff. But we'll start with this, guys. The obvious question, and this can go to anybody whoever wants to answer. Who thinks that was it a mistake for Halliburton to play? Should he have sat out? What are your thoughts on that, man? That's the topic right there.
It's a mistake to have Pascal Siakam on your team. Okay. Because behind so many injuries,
He's the injury
you
merchant.
can find Pascal Siakam in the corner.
1 degree of separation.
Oh man! So you're saying
Literally,
when he was rolling his eyes in the huddles, that was his enchantment on
Come on, man.
Allie's
Yeah,
Achilles?
wrong type of demon time. You know what I mean?
Oh no!
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. He's not beating them allegations, bro. It's definitely a number of folks at this point, but I don't think it's you're playing on the biggest stage. You're playing for the biggest award. You know what I mean? If I think any player that's game 7, you go for it. Because you don't know when you'll be here again. And if you take it, from the perspective of the injury, okay, cool. if he wins if Indiana wins the chip, the injury doesn't feel as much as a blow, right? Because you still got it. It's just battle scars now. But no, I mean, I think any hooper on any level, especially at that level, if you have the opportunity to do it, man, you go for it. And then the way that, I mean, this is not an injury that you would wish on anyone, you would want anyone to have. Naturally, just like how ACLs were a thing, and technology, science has been able to help people recover even faster from those. I think the Achilles thing is starting to be something as well. But what I do think is going to start to warrant is a larger conversation about conditioning. Are players putting themselves through the right conditioning in situations? I know Gil had spoke about this before. In the off season, are you putting your body through the rigorous workouts that's needed for you to be able to have that type of longevity in the season, so your body can take that wear and tear, so you're not having these types of injuries? So terrible injury. Definitely hope he has a speedy recovery. He'll get back.
So what you're saying is the Knicks who let go of Tibbs, they ain't had no torn Achilles because Tibbs be practicing them and their bodies are worn or
Proof is in the pudding.
warmed up. And
you gotta callous that body, okay? You gotta callous that body. All right.
Tibbs' issue is he's on the other end of the spectrum. It's like, bro, take the star player out the game. You're up 20 with 3 minutes left in the fourth. Nah.
You know how you don't get hurt from playing basketball? By playing basketball. All right.
Facts.
What do you think, man? Should Hallie have played or not?
He absolutely should have played. There's nobody that would have been able to tell him not to play. You're in a situation when you're 48 minutes away from a potential NBA championship. You may not ever have that opportunity again, whether you get injured or not. So when you have that chance, when you fought blood, sweat, and tears with your teammates, with your brothers on a ride that has been so emotional, so magical, so transformative, to be at the point where you're knocking at this door where it's literally a 50-50 chance of hoisting an NBA championship. As Lou said, as a hooper, you're going to make that call, and there's nobody that's going to keep you off of that court. I think the thing that was so devastating about it was the fact that he had been dealing with the injury. It had been being managed, and they got through game 6 to get to this opportunity where they were playing in game 7. So him able to get through previous games kind of lulled you asleep to the likelihood or potential of that injury happening. So from us to go from the game 6 experience to be in a place where we have 48 hours to really sit it, everybody's focus is on game 7, right? All the casuals, all the purists, everybody. And for it to happen so early, 5 or 6 minutes into the game, that's what made it so devastating, because it was literally like, this is where all eyes, the entire basketball world extended, is on this moment, because we've fully gotten past the expectation that Oklahoma City was going to win to the we have no idea what's going to happen these next 2 hours that we're sitting down, and in not knowing what was going to happen. The one thing we blocked out of our minds was the likelihood or potential that this could happen. And so that really just threw, I mean, I think it threw everybody for a loop for the next hour, including the Oklahoma City Thunder. I feel like the Pacers, for at least an hour after that, were the only ones both in the building and on the stadium that were able to weather the initial storm of that surprise.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it definitely shocked everybody. It was just like, wow, did that just happen? And it's crazy because it was different than KD going down versus Toronto. You know, it was different.
Mm-hmm.
It was a different air. It was a different vibe.
Well, it's because KD had been out. KD out, and that was his first game back. So you're watching that moment like, oh, I hope he can do this, right? And then it happened. It's like, dang, I knew. I hate he even tried.
Yeah.
Halliburton had cleared
Yeah.
our mental hurdle of I hope he can do this, right? Like even when you see the report come down questionable for cleared, he's gonna play game 7.
No,
It
yeah,
kinda
because he
makes
went through workouts before because that's what they were reporting on the pre
yeah,
games. They said he
Mhm.
was cleared, he worked out, he looked fine. But I'll give her credit. I'll give her credit. Malika, I don't know, I don't think she realized she wasn't supposed to say this part. So it was a closed door workout. She somehow got in and saw it. And right. Somehow got in and behind the closed door workout and saw it. And she said he was limping during the workout. And I'm like, you probably weren't supposed to say that. But we all we're all ballers here. We played the sport. We get it. Players want to play, right? Especially when you're minutes away from your ultimate goal. Players want to play. But I do want to spin another angle, man. Because at the end of the day, it's not only a sport that we love, it's an entertainment and it's a business. How tempting is it if you're a owner to tell them, because the owner should be aware of the closed door workout, right? You see the reported limp. How tempting is it as an owner to tell them, hey, you know what? Sit it down. Reason being is we saw what happened up until then, meaning Tatum's gone, right? So he's gone for a year. Celtics are not going to be the same. So that's an obstacle that you can overcome, right? We saw what happened with the Bucks. You could beat them really with a healthy Dame, some would argue, but nonetheless, Dame's out, right? The Bucks are not going to let themselves. What's going to happen, right? So really, and then you could say, hey, it's just the Knicks, but we beat them. We could do it again. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, how do you stop those doubts and thoughts from creeping into your head? Because now the East is really wide open, right? If you're the Knicks, you're looking and you're like, "Hey, man, we're
Yeah,
we're we're, we're top dog." You get what I'm
but
saying? And the
you
Pacers, they're not. They're back down to, what they were struggling with. They're
yeah, but
playing.
you take the opportunity that's in front of you, right? From a business perspective, is who's to say we come back first game of the season, he tears his Achilles, then what, right?
If we're playing odds, that's less likely than him tearing it now because
I
you're
don't
healing
know.
from a sore
well,
calf.
I
maybe
don't
not
know.
Halliburton, but I mean that can apply to anybody. Like
Mhm.
there's 7 months of variability in front of you, right?
That's what I'm saying is
Yeah,
you take what's in front of you now.
yeah.
I can bet on because I'm here. I don't know if I'm gonna get here again. And as an owner, you
Really?
know that you know what a championship means for your team, for your revenue, for the city, and so on. So
You bring revenue, but if my star player is gone, and that means we're gonna suck. That's lower ticket sales. That's less people
I
in the
got
seats.
7 months to replace him.
You're gonna
Yeah,
replace Halliburton?
I
I
got
mean,
7 months
you
to figure it
to
out. But
figure
I'm
that
just saying,
out.
in theory, you
Yeah.
you have you have options. You have options at that point.
I'm
Even
just
if
saying
yeah,
you have options too of sitting him down and and getting back
But
up.
you don't
I'm
know if
just
you're
saying.
getting back to the chip.
You don't know you're
You don't know
not.
if you're getting back to the chip.
You don't know you're not. I'm just throwing it out there. You don't know you're
All
not.
right?
so
But this is what I'm
to
saying.
put
You
it
don't
in a
know. But
yeah,
I know I'm here now.
Here's an
So
option.
exactly.
carpe
How
diem.
about the Pacers just rebuild? How about they just blow it up? Because
Yes,
like what Lou
man.
said, what are they gonna do? They gonna re-sign Miles to big money? Do you think they're gonna go back? Do you think they're gonna beat the Knicks again, the Celtics again, the Sixers?
And that's what I'm saying. You got to rebuild it. If you sit Hallie down, you at least have your core tenant. You run it back, and they've shown they can get close to OKC without Hallie. I don't know, man. All I'm saying is I feel like when Ev said the percentages, right? If the percentage is 50-50, that means they're equal. So like you got to look at the other side. That's for me. That's if I'm owner, it's tempting because at the end of the day, my job as owner is to right. I get it, give you the product, and we got to go and get that chip, right? But we also know the reality of the situation. There are owners out there who Lou has said this as well about teams, but I think it's also reflective of the owners where there's franchises who are okay with being middle of the pack, right? And they're
Just because
fine
I'm an
with being
owner.
middle of the pack, right? And I think there's
James
owners who
Dolan
have that
is number
mentality.
one on that list.
You feel
Lot of
me?
Knicks hate. A lot of Knicks hate right now.
James
the
Dolan
best.
hate. James
So,
Dolan hate.
well, let me. What I'd say to that is, again, I think Game 7 changes all the calculations that we're talking about. If it's especially because he made it through Game 6, so whatever they saw, he made it through Game 6. Now, when you're in Game 7, it's whatever we got. Even if the risk is we get 20 minutes from Halliburton and that's all we get, all right, we figure out what to do, right? The math ended up being they got 5 minutes from Halliburton, and then they had to figure out the rest. Let's still not forget they were up at halftime, right? So
point.
they came. Hey, 1 point is had it ended at 1 point, they'd be NBA champions,
But it was
right?
halftime, sir. So you said
Understood,
halftime.
understood. But
Let's
again,
not act like this whole series has not been decided by the last 5 minutes. So that's why I'm saying, Ev, like that's
but
nomenclature that
to
doesn't make
get
sense to me
yourself
because
in position, again, you're a team that is proven that no somehow you've made it to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Nobody thought you would
you
be
just
here,
but to me
right?
that proves it. They were up one without Hallie at halftime. They could have done it without him.
I, I
I'm just
mean,
saying.
it's possible. But
I'm just
like,
throwing that.
well,
Listen, man, I'm just throwing,
to your point,
throwing
though, that
some
was
different
halftime.
perspectives
They
out
couldn't have
there.
done it without him because they didn't. So they took the chance of, hey, is there a chance we can have him? And it just ended up, that's the thing about percentages. There's both sides to that percentage.
Is there last one, and then we'll transition, guys, to another aspect of the other team on the NBA Finals.
NBA champion, right?
Yeah, the champions, right? Last thing. Is there credence to how much these players are putting on the line when it comes to their body? Saying this, is it worth it? Because he potentially, I know he's young, right? So he's not Kobe at a later age getting blowing an Achilles. He's not Dame who's at a later age, blowing an Achilles. Clay, you get what I'm saying? He's not that. He's still young enough to where he can recover and he'll be fine, right? But we still know that historically speaking, when you do have a ruptured Achilles, you lose that explosiveness, right? You lose a little bit of that. You lose that step that you have. It's just that devastating of an injury, but he could be the exception. Was it worth it to put his body and possibly his career a little bit if he's not the same? Do you guys think it was worth it?
I'll answer quick, Lou, then I'll let you go. Birdman said, put some respect on my name. Halliburton in this playoffs, put the respect on his name that will carry him through coming back from this injury, in my opinion. He'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, this is why you play the sport. Well, phrase you don't play a sport for that, but you put it all on the line. So I tip my hat to Halliburton because sometimes there's a question about do the players really love the game, or are they just here to collect a check? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
and he showed he loves the game. That's the type of stuff that will bring viewership up because if people actually care.
I don't know, Lou. You just had to sell him off. But anyway, no, I'm just joking. But no, yeah, as we transition to OKC, though, shout out to Halliburton. Hate is a sign of respect. So I hate on him because I respect his game, so shout out to him. Hopefully he no, I'm real about it, man. Hate on
This
him.
whole this whole season on this show makes sense now.
I'm about to say you just gave him an opening about the Knicks.
Oh, here you go. Okay, when I hate, it's a sign of respect. I can't speak. I can't speak for anybody else. Well, let me. You know what? Make this more specific. My hate on Hallie is a sign of respect. I disrespectfully hate the Lakers. So let's just
I
put
was
it that
because I was about to say
way. I
again, you opening the door for yourself, fam.
disrespectfully hate those Lakers. Freaking purple and gold. All right. OKC Thunder, man. They won the chip. This team is young, the youngest to do it since my Blazers with Bill Walton against the Sixers. Do you guys, given that they're still young, contracts are in place for at least 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, 3 for some, do you guys think this is going to be a new, 3-year run, which is kind of the average, which has been lately? Is this going to be the new 3 to 4 year run contender in the NBA on the West side? Is this what we're seeing? Are they here to stay? Or was this just a series of fortunate event? Because everybody says there has to be a little bit of luck in there, right? So, but what do you guys think? Anybody can jump in on that. Is OKC here to stay, man?
I'm going to start with controversy by saying no. And
I
let
knew that
me
was coming.
caveat what I mean by no. I think OKC will be in the mix for years to come. However, the West is good and getting better. Competitiveness in this league as a whole, parity is the best it's been in a while. And from what we've seen with I hate to bring up injuries, but what we've seen with Halliburton now, the variables are too high to say that a team is going to go on a 2, 3, 4 year run. On the court, injuries unrelated. SGA and this team, although they're deep, although they're talented, teams are going to spend the whole summer, a whole offseason gearing up for them. They still shot terrible in the playoffs. They still, when it was crunch time, there was a lot of SGA bail us out. So there's still levels that this team is going to have to grow to continue to get better. And so I'm just going to be the contrarian and say the overall competitiveness of this league, especially the West, will not allow the Thunder to repeat. But they will be in the mix for years to come.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing: when you talk about a couple year run, they've been the number one team 2 years in a row. So I think that is telling. But I do think that and this is a different perspective. I would like to see them to come back and do it again. But I think what this series with Indiana and how much we were able to see that Indiana was able to level with them, script or not. It kind of makes you think, do if they had to go to 7 with Indiana, could they do it against a Boston, right? Um, are they able to come back around? And if Denver retools, can they beat Denver in 7? So I'm glad they got theirs. Because you never know if you'll get there again. But I can't say for sure they're a shoe-in to be the NBA Finals team that for 2-3 years to come.
Before you go, Hans, I'll say real quick because Lou just said exactly something that went through my mind. Watching Indiana extend this series, yes, I'm making this about the Knicks. I did have the thought, man,
Oh, Lord.
had we made it to the finals, we might have actually had a chance. Where before I was like, hey, if we make it to the finals, OKC might blow us out. So that is
Matchups.
fair. That is fair.
Yeah, yeah. As Pop Mobile points out, no team has repeated in 7 years. So it's a hard feat. It's a hard feat to do in this NBA, which I think is a good thing, right? That means we're competitive. We're really out here. Teams are going for it. But to wrap up this segment, guys, I really think I am going to side with Evan on this one. I do think that the West is just super competitive. Gone are the years where the number one team is really kind of running through it. I don't think that OKC is done developing. the Pacers, as gritty and grimy as they are, as much as we call them great value OKC, they up their value. I don't think I think they really up their
Shout
value,
out to Rick.
and they did expose some holes that the Thunder need to work on this offseason. So I do not think I am here. I don't think I can say that they're going to repeat and be in the finals next year. I think they're going to be around in the mix. They're going to be contending. Top 5 team in the West, 100%. All right, guys, let's move on. Trade time. Trade time. Trade time. So let's first talk about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant has been dealed to the Houston Rockets. He is going, and let me look up the deals. I apologize for this real quick.
I'll take your time. Pod Mambo edit all this out.
Yeah. Okay, Kevin Durant. All right, anyway. So Kevin
On
Durant
the YouTube too.
is being traded to the Houston Rockets for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, a number 10 pick in the 2025 draft, and 5 second-round picks. So 5 second-round picks are going to the Phoenix Suns, along with Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and a number 10 pick in this upcoming draft. Initial thoughts: is this enough? Is this a light package for Kevin Durant, or is this commensurate with his value on the market right now? Because I know you guys heard me on my soapbox with this Desmond Bain and 20 million picks and half a Disney
Blockbuster
park.
trade.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me put some respect on the blockbuster trade with Memphis and Orlando. Is this the value? Is this the going value for Kevin Durant right now?
I'll let Lou go first, but I just want to say, how many times can you be traded as a player and it be a blockbuster?
That is true. I think as many as you want to, if your team is performing at a high level. I think LeBron. Because any trade that LeBron has had, right, or done has
Well, you
been
don't get traded.
blockbuster. So
Yeah,
You
he's
don't
never
get-
been
you don't get
traded.
traded,
He's
never
bro.
been
never been
traded. You're right.
traded.
It's always
You don't
been-
get traded.
Kevin Durant's been in 4 now. Are they 4 blockbuster trades?
He's been in 7, hasn't he? Or 4? No, 4.
Golden State, Brooklyn, Phoenix, and now Houston.
Wow.
Oh, I guess Golden State. He signed with Golden State.
He signed.
Okay, so
Yeah.
3. I'm sorry, Lou. What are your thoughts?
No, man, mine's a simple way. KD, it's an aging KD. KD is on the back end of his career. Already has suffered a major injury.
No
You're
first
looking at him right now like a later stage Mellow. You try to use him for whatever
He's not
offensive.
that bad. A later stage Melo?
What do you mean later stage Mellow? Hoodie Mellow was cooking people. What?
Later stage Melo? Y'all gotta
Let me tell you
relax.
something, okay?
Yeah, okay. So y'all got no respect
Carmelo
for Hoodie Mello.
Anthony
So y'all got no respect for
resuscitated
Hoodie
the
Mello.
Portland Trail Blazers
Here he goes.
franchise.
He's always gonna bring that up.
Alright.
He resuscitated, or we
Quick.
gave him a shot because he couldn't get a job in the league.
Stay focused, sir. We're talking
Yeah,
about
that's
Kevin
what
Durant,
happened.
all right?
We
Keep
resuscitated.
your
Or
strays.
we
We
allowed
got
him to
Portland
put-
takes coming, okay?
We
got
allowed
Portland
him to
takes
put
coming.
food on the table for
All
his
I
new
know is that
child.
my
Look at this,
my guy, Hoodie Mello, was giving people fits. And yes, KD
The
is
last
what
time
you
y'all made a winning acquisition is when y'all signed Carmelo Anthony, okay? It's been all dud since then.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
wow.
Lou. Go
Okay,
ahead. Lou.
you know what?
He said black what?
Oh,
I don't know. I'm
some
sorry.
shots being taken, huh?
Foolishness goes by my ears.
No, I'm just saying, bro. Shots being taken. I don't see no bartenders. This is
He's
crazy.
wild. KD and Melo are not the same. That's all I'm saying. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Look,
Y'all wild. If y'all saying KD and Melo are the same, I'm leaving right now. I'm just saying they're
I'm
not
talking
the same.
about a purely offensive guy
3-level
you're not
score,
going to
sir.
expect much.
Oh man,
3-level
You're not
score,
going
let's mute
sir.
my mic.
3-level
not going to
score,
expect.
sir.
You're not going to expect anything else. You bring him on this young team, this young Houston team, who already has a solid defensive foundation. You bring in somebody in who can score. Dylan Brooks is not that. Fred VanVleet can't be the one that you depend on. Jalen Green, too streaky. Your foundation is Sengun and Thompson. So, with that being said, you bring in another vet who's a pure scorer who can get jiggy on the court because that's not going to change. And then you know, what I mean,
Where they gonna
that's
find
just,
that
and
though?
then you work around that. He's just another piece now. But yeah, I think this is his going value right now. Knicks ain't want him.
So that's a great segue into my thoughts on the trade. I think it's incredibly telling what Phoenix wasn't able to get done for KD. So there's reports that Toronto wouldn't include Jakob Poeltl in the trade for KD. The Miami Heat wouldn't include Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic,
Tyler Hero.
Alonzo Highsmith, right? And the 20th pick in the trade for Kevin Durant. We hear, though, that Cleveland did offer Darius Garland for Kevin Durant. And then we hear that the Knicks didn't want Kevin Durant. I think from a Houston standpoint, this is a good trade for them. They saved ammunition to make another trade if they need to. But for Houston, they can't fool themselves into thinking that Kevin Durant will be the primary reason they get over the top. What I mean by that is Houston's fate is dependent on the improvement of their existing players, right? Amen Thompson taking another step. Either Cam Whitmore or Reed Shepard now developing in that 2 role now that Jalen Green is gone. Figuring out what Jabari Smith is if they keep him. Figuring out the ideal way to use Şengün. Those are going to be the reasons they take another step. I believe Kevin Durant at this stage of his career is additive with some finishing aspects in the clutch. But if you're counting on Kevin Durant is going to be our leader / superstar that's going to get us over the hump,
Not at all.
you're selling yourself a dream in this trade.
So you're saying he's no longer capable of leading
He's never
a
led.
team to? You said he's never led.
He's never led it.
So in 2012, who was leading the OKC Thunder?
Well, I think you mean, I think by leading, you mean Lou is
Westbrook?
speaking to, no. I think Lou is speaking to culture, locker room leading. I think, Hans, you're meaning the leading man on the court, on the
Yeah,
floor.
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
But I'd also agree with what Lou is saying. It may look a lot like Kevin Durant on the court, but that's not the Kevin Durant that's going to lead a team on the court to anything.
Yeah.
No, I agree
No.
with that.
No, I guess what I'm asking though, I guess is your last statement. Are you saying though that with him being the lead person on the court, right? Because we know there's levels to it, right?
Mhm.
There's a driving force on the court versus your driving force for the culture could be 2 different people, right? On a
Mhm.
team, and that happens sometimes. My question for you though is with this move that Houston did, could they actually reach that next level with making him the focal point offensively, X's and O's speaking? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying like, yeah, X's and O's, but as like the guy to lead your team, culture,
Mhm.
he's not it? Or are you saying he's not it on both levels?
I'm saying
Like
both.
he's
I'm saying the
Oh,
cultural
okay.
part goes
Yeah.
without saying. I'm
Okay.
saying on the
Both.
court,
Okay.
we've watched the last 4 years. No,
Yeah.
we don't want to admit it, but no, he's not that guy anymore.
You know, Houston will not be successful if he's the focal point. I'm hoping, and just as Evan said, that they kept a little bit of trade capital with Jabari. I hope that they're in the back end trying to figure out how they can move him for something else. Because I do think if they bring somebody else, let's say for the sake of argument, they were to get a guy like a Darius Garland to add to that team, then you start talking about they've made a significant jump.
He can fill a lot of blanks, but filling a lot of blanks and being the lead focal point, I think, are two different things.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're basically essentially saying that KD
He's
is no
mellow.
longer going to take you to the promised land as your number one. It's got to be number two. It's got to be number two. So, last question then, before we move on to the real important trade topic. Is Houston searching for a number one, or do they have that number one? Are we saying Sengun's the number one? Because it's not Jalen Green. So,
I mean, he gone.
I think they're going for a model.
I mean, this is
kind
and
of in
Lou's
a
been critical about Jabari, right? So, like, Jalen's gone. So, like, it's Sengun. That's what we're saying.
I think they're going for that Detroit type model where the sum of all the parts are bigger than its whole, or whatever that saying is. Yeah, whatever that saying goes. Greater than the sum of their parts. That's what it is. Greater than the sum of their
there
parts.
we go.
Yeah, just wouldn't come to me. Sorry.
Was it? What was the one that says when Bush was like, they say, well, they said, can't fool me. What? You know,
when he
just
messed
can't
it
get
up,
fooled again.
You know
You
what I mean?
can't fool you. You can't fool again. Yeah.
Stop trying to fool me.
Yeah. Whatever. Some parts whole. Who cares?
Somebody said something.
Right. Some parts whole, fractions. What are we doing here? Right? We're a basketball podcast.
Mathematics.
I'm done. All right.
Fool me once, shame on you.
That's it. That's it. Fool me.
Fool me twice.
Can't get fooled again.
Can't fool again.
But if you fool me, can't get fooled again. Shout out to J. Cole for that snippet in the album.
Oh man.
All right. Clearly, we didn't take philosophy 101 seriously in college. We were sleeping in that class. All right, guys. Let's talk about the trade that matters, man. I need 2 minutes, man. Pop Mama, get the 2 minute shot clock going, please. I just need 2 minutes to get my Stephen A. Smith on, to look at the camera, to start yelling.
On mute too.
You're gonna be. He is probably gonna mute me. All right, I'll start with the stupid trade because I just cannot believe this. Okay, it's been reported by Shams that the Portland Trailblazers, freaking Portland Trailblazers, man, have traded Anthony Simons as Walmart BI, as Pod Mamba affectionately calls him. I don't see it. I really don't see it. To the Boston Celtics for 2 second-round picks and Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday. That's right. Drew Holiday. To quote a great character from Succession, we're not serious people. We are not serious as a freaking franchise. I literally sat here as an NBA podcaster and berated the Orlando Magic for selling half their city for Desmond Bane, stating that they paid too much. But at least they had the decency to pay too much for somebody they looked at once. They fell in love at first sight. You know what we did? My lovely, silly franchise. We looked this guy in the eye, looked him over when we got him initially, just a season ago, when we got him initially from Boston, from the Bucks. And we was like, you know what? You look good, but we don't want it. We don't want it. And he didn't want to be here. I get that, but we don't want it. And now you want him? And you want to pay more for him? Really? You fell for the glow up? You fell for the sundress? He went to the gym, put on a sundress, and now you're gawking and you about to fly him out and marry him, and he still don't want to be here, what are we doing? What are we building for? This literally frustrates the ever living hell out of me. It does. What are we doing? What are we building for? We're just shuffling pieces, and we're continuing to give teams good players for a bag of chips. We do this over and freaking over again. We're kind of building something, and then we do it. We let go. Wesley Matthews, LaMarcus Aldridge, Nicholas Batum. We had a good team going there with Dame. Nah, we got to blow that up because everybody's going guard heavy. What are we doing? What are we doing? You know, you want to know what we're doing? We're strapping ourselves financially for a few more years of mediocrity. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And I understand now why Portland has one of the most strict clubs per capita. Because we got to find something interesting to watch because it ain't the Blazers to get us going. We got to. This is crazy. This is crazy. Drew, I'm sorry, bro. Solid player. Solid player. But yo, sometimes you gotta let them hoes spin the block, bro. Sometimes you gotta let them keep walking, man. Sometimes you just gotta let them keep walking. Hey, yo, you shoot your shot sometimes, you miss. Sometimes you gotta let that go. That's just the rules of the game. You gotta let that go. Yeah, they come back with a little glow up, but hey, yo, you're fine. I'm not gonna pay that sticker price. You gotta let that go. Portland Trailblazers, man, we gotta do better, man. We have to do better. And I get it in the sense of we had to make a choice, right? We had too many guards. We had too many guards, right? We had Shaden, Anthony, and we're trying to develop Scoop, right? One of them, we had to let it go. But for Drew, now, when he's expensive, damn near 100 mil. All right, I'm done. Portland, please, please, please. Make this make sense. Make up for this with a great trade for dominating and broken leg Robert Williams, who can't get on the court. Okay.
You said you only needed 2
man.
minutes, bro. It's been double that.
I
Well, you-
forgot
you-
about
It's almost been
dominating,
5
bro.
minutes. It's almost been 5.
I-
You done?
I
You done?
com-
You finished?
Hold on. I completely forgot about dominating, yo. Like
My
this is
bad. I completely ignored the chat because clearly I've been holding
nah,
this
man.
up,
Yo,
walking
sometimes you gotta
around,
get some stuff off your chest, man. Get it
kicking
off your chest,
puppies.
yeah.
It's been a bad couple days.
If you wanted a
man.
veteran point guard, I mean, you could have just signed Chris Paul for the vet min. Like you didn't
Clearly.
you didn't need to go get a player who's owed 3 years, 100 million left on his contract.
You're not wrong. You're
So
not
let
wrong.
me try to talk you off the ledge, man.
Man, I
real quick.
already jumped, man. Ain't no talking.
All right. So
I'm free falling, man. Just blow up the thing, man.
He's in free fall right
Yeah,
now.
man. Just blow up the thing for me to land on, man.
So I agree. Anytime you can trade to get a player the second time that is now both older, more injured, and more expensive than he was the first time you had him, you probably shouldn't do that. Agreed with you. With that said, though, the Simons Sharp Scoot combination had to be broken up. You're breaking it up for a player that can at least teach defense, even if we'll see if he can still play defense.
He doesn't
Who
want to
is
be there. We'll
fine.
see.
Who is fine not having the ball. And you're putting your chips in the number 2 pick, Scoot Henderson. 3 picks. All right, 3 picks. Is Scoot in year 3 going to be the guy? Is Shaden in year 3, going to make steps? And now you have a player that can complement without complicating the backcourt. And Denny Avdia,
Who
best
has
player on your
emerged
team
this
last
year?
year. You
Who
know,
has emerged?
Yeah.
Don't
Can
get me wrong.
continue.
I get that, but Drew 100 mil. That's not the move. That's not the move, man.
I
That's
mean,
not the
listen,
move. That's
I don't
that's a
disagree.
depreciating asset.
So let's do this. Let's
Oh
do
man
this.
called him a used vehicle.
Blazers were
That's
better off
crazy.
just trading Anthony for Kristaps. At least Kristaps would have filled in pretty
Jeez.
nicely.
I'm
Let's
just
do
saying.
this. How about let's talk about the other team in this trade?
Go ahead, man. Transition. I'm at a
'Cause-
loss. Go ahead.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
okay. Because you're
at
gonna go to
least
where I'm going.
at least you helped another rich owner save $180 million. Is there any joy in that?
No, not at all.
Okay, I tried.
Not at all.
I
Not
tried.
at all.
Well, what I will say is that Boston is proving to show that they are pretty cutthroat because trading Drew Holiday, I'm sure he wasn't expecting it. And then
Why
also,
not Derek White?
yeah.
I would have
What
took
do
Derek
we-
White.
No, I mean everybody knew
Well-
that Drew and Kristaps were going to be the first out the
Right.
door.
Everybody
because
knows that, but
Boston
we
needed
ain't had
to.
to fall for that, Ev. We knew it's an okie doke.
Yeah, but you
I
know,
mean,
here's the thing.
I've heard in
You
trades
guys-
before. Everybody can be traded because it only takes one sucker. Okay, my bad. I'm not helping it out. Go ahead, Luke. Go ahead.
We're right there.
Hey yo, my man is on a roll, bro.
Any other team who had an aging player owed a lot of money would have to attach picks to get rid of him. Except the Celtics, they get picks. It's unbelievable. It's the witchcraft in Boston is it's crazy.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. Like I'm surprised that the price tag wasn't higher, right? That they didn't. Yeah, if I'm going to be taking on $100 million, I need a little bit more. I need a little bit more from you guys. So I don't know if they have something else in motion that they're thinking about, but again, I'm surprised that the price tag is so low because I don't mind Drew Holiday going there because, hey, Hans, one of the biggest things you were talking about, Portland players don't have, they don't get development. That's a great player to bring in to help.
And they don't play defense.
Yeah. Again, so you're getting two things that you need from a veteran guy to help you guys be better, right? But the price tag was just too low. I don't know what it is, man. What my man Brad has over old boy. You
saw something in one of them clubs, man. You saw something in one of
bro,
the Portland clubs.
I don't know what it. They got a photo or something. You know what I mean? Because the price tag was way too low. But I just also feel bad for Drew because it's like, man, you go win the chip with Milwaukee. You're a guy who is a staple piece of that team. Cool. You go to Boston, you get through that, and then you know what? You get to the mountaintop again, and they do this. But you know what? If trends are true, Hans, you're on your way to a chip, bro.
I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for Drew at all. 2 titles in 4 years, and he's still sitting on $100 million more coming his way. Life is good.
Got you.
What I do wonder before we go is who is more likely to get traded again before the season starts, Drew Holiday or Anthony Simons?
You think the Celtics are going to trade Anthony?
Look, Pop Mama wasn't wrong when he said that they doing witchcraft over there. Okay, there's a chicken foot somewhere in that office.
There's a chicken.
Anthony only has 1 year left, so it's actually
he's an expiring
contract. So I mean, technically, I guess they could retrain him in the trade deadline.
I mean, you're not wrong. All right, guys, let's get to one more trade real quick that happened. The New Orleans Pelicans are trading C.J. McCollum, former Blazer, Kelly Olynyk, and a future second-round pick to the Washington Wizards for Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey, and the number 40 pick.
So 2 teams stayed terrible. Cool. So let's talk about the other trade there.
Yeah, let's talk about the other trade that
KP.
The Kristaps Porzingis trade to Atlanta. So basically, the Atlanta, Boston, and Brooklyn trade initially happened between the 3 teams. So who do we think? And it's basically the Atlanta Hawks get Porzingis, a second-round pick. Terrence Mann and Atlanta's number 22 pick, they go to the Nets, and George Niang and a second rounder go to the Celtics. Celtics are
that was a
clearly
big
unloading, right? So they can get
yeah.
behind this apron. What do we think, though? Trae Young, this is the first maybe superstar-ish, even though Kristaps can't stay on the court to save his life. You get somebody to play with. What do y'all see? Does this make sense?
I say it like this,
For the
okay?
Hawks.
Well, I'm gonna say this. As far as on the court, it doesn't matter for either of these teams. All right. Well, okay. I'll tell. No, I won't tell the story. On the court, doesn't matter. If I could save either of you $148, you'd be the winner in whatever we had going on that day. The Celtics only saved $148 million by pulling this off in conjunction with the Drew Holiday trade. That's honestly, that's the biggest outcome of this trade. That's the win.
That's the win.
Saved $148 million on the cap. Got 3 second rounders and Anthony Simons.
Look,
light day at work, man.
The light day of work.
Light day at work. Swindled what? 3-4 teams.
But the Nets, I give the Nets though. The Nets are sitting on five first round picks.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Swindle 2 teams.
So right now, I mean, let's be real. Nets are just
sucker 2 teams.
They're just I mean,
yeah. The
Nets
Nets only have 5
first round
picks.
The hole that they put themselves in.
They only have 5 first round picks in one of the worst drafts in recent years. Congratulations, I guess.
Yes. You know what I mean? But you at least try to make it seem like you're trying to get picks back from the terrible. You haven't had picks for 5 years, bro. Like, come on.
You gave the
they gave up everything for that KG, Paul Pierce, and all that stuff. So
they're still paying for that. Got it.
Yo, exactly. So you're like, man, the Nets got 5 picks. They're trying. They're trying. So hey, man, look, they're out there. They're gonna go to the lake, and they're gonna put the little the little plate in there, the little sift in there, and they're gonna see if they're gonna find some gold. So hey, man, it's a numbers game right now.
I'm going to push back on what Pop Mamba said right there, because I think this is an intriguing draft. I wouldn't put this as the worst draft in 5 years. Yes, they're sitting at the number 8 pick, and we can get into it as much as you want to get into. You know, there already is some intrigue with one of the picks at the top of the draft. But at 8, there is still some potential to get a player of intrigue. There's always a player in the teens every year that ends up rising to be one of the best players in the draft, right? So they're in position to potentially get one of those if they play their cards right, because like you said, they have those 5 picks. This is
I appreciate you giving me the alley. Speaking of the draft is happening while we're recording. Well, it's not happening while we're recording. When you finally hear this, the draft will be going on. So let's talk about it. We already know what's going on. Number one, there's no really discussions to talk about there. I think what's basically been dominating the news headlines in regards to the draft is what's going to happen with Mr. Bailey. Ace Bailey seems to have fallen. And it's been reported that the 76ers, who he's anticipated or projected to be picked up by, may not be interested. They're gonna go with VJ. What are your thoughts, Lou? I know you said you actually are on the side of the 76ers on this one. You don't think they need to go with and you know you're alum, sir. You're not gonna go with your alum, man. That's disrespectful.
Hey, man, I like Dylan better anyway. So
it'd be your own people. Go ahead, Lou.
What you mean? He's another Rutgers guy. You know what I mean? Probably end up in San Antonio, but no, I think that
let's talk about dealing with the Spurs, because like, why would they need another point guard? They have De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, they don't really need him, but if
Dylan's
we
pretty.
would go by what you guys said, what you said, you know what I mean? Do you get the guy you need, or do you get the best player on the board?
Yeah.
Hmm?
If
No,
you
don't
have a
run away now,
draft,
Bob Mamba. Don't run away now.
Oh, my bad. I thought I was done. I just wanted to chime in real quick.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead,
You
Lou.
try to
Go
get
ahead,
me?
Lou.
Was
No,
he
listen.
throw a rock and run away?
No, I think Ace Bailey is a better player than Dylan Harper, but that's just me.
No,
That's why I think
no. I'm
The
saying is,
Spurs would be better with Ace than Dylan because they have Castle and they have De'Aaron Fox.
yeah.
Why are
No,
they gonna
I
have
don't think that's a
three
bad
point? Why
at
do they
all.
have three guards? They're gonna look like the Suns.
Yeah, I don't. Well, that's if you have a rookie and you hope that, you know what I mean, you're not sure what you're gonna get. You hope you could develop him, and who knows. But again, wild stuff happens on draft day, so I'm assuming that we'll see some trades that happen. Some people move up in spots
Hey,
and so on.
KD
I
might
don't think the
still end up
frenzy.
being a Spur, man.
Yeah, look, I don't think the frenzy has ended yet, right? So definitely during the draft is going to be some wild stuff. Check out our socials, our Twitters, and so on. We'll probably be tweeting about it. So now I do think VJ is a better fit for Philly. I'm not, and that's because I don't know if I'm fully sold on Ace. If I'm going to keep it 1,000, so I think Ace has a lot of skills. I think his upside is great, but I don't know if I'm not sure if he reaches that ceiling. If that makes sense. If he does reach that ceiling, I do think that his career will be better than VJ's. But I think VJ right now is just a more polished player.
let me just say that I may or may not live in a city that has a team that has the number 6 pick. So should Ace Bailey make it past the Utah Jazz at number 5, I will be fully invested in Ace Bailey achieving his full potential. I think that is by far the greatest outcome for the Wizards at number 6, being that they lost out on being one of the top 2 teams in this draft when at that time Ace Bailey was projected to be the number 2 pick in this draft. So
You don't see Ace and Laurie?
I'm hopeful. So here's what's crazy about the story. Why did Ace Bailey not work out for anybody? It leads you to think somebody made him a promise and said, you got to get squirrely with this. We'll give you what you want once you get here. Is it the Wizards? Is it the Nets at 8? We don't know. But it's just we've never seen this to this degree. And so
I like it though. I'm not
yeah,
gonna fake because at the end of the day, this is different. It's basketball. You've been watching me. You know what I got. Relax. I'm not gonna show you anything in this little workout or interview. You get what I'm saying? That's to me going to tip it super crazy. So I kind of like it in the sense of players kind of getting control a little bit in this process.
Mm,
It seems less like an auction of bodies.
yeah.
But I
You the combine?
listen, man, we are all about he was at the combine. He did the measurables. He didn't go through anything. But being in the District of Columbia, the nation's capital, the 51st state that's taxation without representation, I'll say the people of DC are all about doing whatever you can to exercise your rights and take a stand. So if Ace Bailey is taking a stand right now and exercising his rights, he will firmly be embraced by the people of the District of Columbia.
okay. Pod Bomb was also putting reports in there speculating that basically this is just Ace Bailey receiving bad advice from his agent, and saying that essentially the agent wanted more airtime and more exposure, and it remains to be seen. I also like the player empowerment angle on it. I think that talent wins overall. So if he drops and the Wizards, as Ev alluded, picks him up, we'll see. His play will prove everybody wrong. But guys, I also want to put it out there before we end the show. This is our last show of the regular season. We're closing it out. We're going to take a break for a couple weeks. We'll be back for another show in August, barring any breaking trades or news. Then we're hopping right back on our mics, and we're going to continue to be the number one NBA podcast in the universe. So thank you guys for being with us for another great season of the 3on3 podcast. We appreciate all the support. So thank you for rocking with us. We'll be back in a couple weeks. Continue to rock with us during this summer. Thank you guys. Peace. Take care. What's up, guys? Thank you for listening to the 3on3 podcast. Please be sure to give the episode a thumbs up if you loved it. Hit that subscribe button, and last but not least, hit that bell so that way you're notified every time we drop a new episode. Hit us up on our social media, guys. You can find us at the 3on3 podcast on IG and Twitter. If you want to give us any ideas or suggestions, shoot us an email at the 3on3podcast@gmail.com. We appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys next time.